Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 1 day time frame, because today I want to talk about this uptrend here. Of course, yesterday we saw a wick down to this ascending trend line at about 115.3k. If we look at tomorrow, for example, this trend line is already at 116.3k. So keep in mind that this ascending level of support does trend up over time. Either way, like I said yesterday, so long as we are not breaking down below this ascending level of support, there isn't too much to worry about, and it's simply way too early to be sounding the alarm bells. Something that we should keep an eye on, though, is this bearish divergence, which is when you have higher highs in the Bitcoin price and lower highs in the RSI momentum indicator, because typically this plays out either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or potentially some bearish momentum. However, like I said yesterday as well, so long as we're not breaking down below this ascending trend line, we can easily just invalidate this bearish divergence by making a new high in the Bitcoin price in terms of candle closes, which would be if we get a candle close above 120,000. And overall on this high time frame, not much has changed. We still simply have this bull flag pattern that broke out to the upside at 108,000. And so long as we do not fall back inside this pattern, guys, I am still targeting 126k in the Bitcoin price. Something we can also take a look at is this 4-hour time frame, because like I said yesterday, we held this horizontal level of support because this was a false breakdown here, and confirmed this as soon as we got this green candle back inside the level of support. So for now, we are simply back inside the range once again, which means that we should keep an eye on a potential breakdown below 115.5k or a break above 121,000 in the Bitcoin price. So long as that is not happening, this 4-hour time frame is simply chopping sideways, and we can just keep trading this range forever as far as I'm concerned, so long as we do not break above 121 or below 115.5. Now, if we move to this 2-hour time frame, there's actually something that I have been keeping an eye on, but haven't been sharing here in my videos because once again, we were simply trading sideways. But something might be brewing on the lower time frames right now, because this is obviously a falling wedge pattern with a level of resistance at 118.5k. But notice how if we were to break out of this right now, for example, it would set a price target at 126k as well. So then we have a price target at 126k on this 2-hour time frame as well as the 2-day time frame. However, we have not broken out of this yet, so therefore it is too early to be calling for some kind of big move to the upside. Another reason why I haven't been sharing this in the videos is because on this 4-hour time frame, once again, we are still in this range, and we would need to see a break above 121k in the Bitcoin price before we can really start talking about a bigger move to the upside. However, if we do end up getting a breakout sometime soon, hopefully not in a weekend, then we could at least look for a move up to 121k to see if we are actually breaking out of that. And then if we end up breaking through the resistance, then this 126k level will likely come very quickly after that as well. So for now, on this lower time frame, not too much is actually happening just yet. You can look for a breakout and then see if we end up breaking this 121k level of resistance. But of course, that is not financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you can do with that what you like. Next, moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 3-day time frame, and notice how earlier today we took out a decent amount of liquidity to the upside at 117,000. However, there is still a lot of liquidity sitting here at 118.5 and even 120,000 as well. And if we zoom out to this 2-week time frame, here we have a bunch of liquidity around that 120k level as well. So overall, right now, most of the liquidity is to the upside and most of the liquidity to the downside has already been taken out. So once again, this 1-day time frame, this uptrend is going to be critical because, like I said at the start of the video, as long as we're not breaking down below this, it is simply very, very likely that we are going to end up taking out these higher levels of liquidity at some point because we are simply trending up over time. Next, moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Yesterday, we saw a relatively small inflow of about $130 million flowing into the Bitcoin ETFs in a single day of trading. Now, I do think this is significant because we saw 3 days of net outflows here. So it was important to keep an eye on this to see if these Bitcoin ETF investors were continuing to flip extremely bearish. But yesterday we did not see any massive outflows. So it seems like the Bitcoin ETF investors are just relatively neutral at the moment. Now for this weekend, we aren't going to get any new data because the Bitcoin ETF investors cannot trade inside the weekends. And therefore I will update you guys on this once again next week. But of course, tomorrow is going to be another Bitcoin analysis video. So make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you do not miss any of these important update videos. And besides that, if you're interested in some Ethereum or Solana analysis, guys, I will be posting another video on the RT1M altcoin channel pretty shortly after you watch this one. So make sure to go check out this channel. I will probably link it in the pinned comments down below. But regardless, if you do end up subscribing or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.